here, and we're in Enmore in Sydney. Now, here I've got with me the Hog.
Howdy there. How you going?
Being very Australian
Chicken pie with tomato sauce.
What's that like?
Brilliant, I'd recommend it. Mona Cafe.
Poster of Steve Berkoff, who's got a play
One
in
man.
a Seymour Centre, a one-man play famous for.
Very famous as the author of the play The Greek. Very famous for his production in full at House of Usher. He was the head of the Belvoir Theatre before John Woods took over in the 1970s, about 1973, 75 I think. And he's in Sydney doing these two short plays with, I guess, one man. He's just on stage by himself. So he's also the Russian general, the demented Russian general in Rambo 2, the villain in Octopussy to Roger Moore, James Bond. An endorsement, we could give an endorsement.
We could give it endorsement, and the Saints' blessing. It's Doctor Who. Now in Australia, for the British people, you'll have to be patient with us because we're about a year behind you. But in Australia, where are we up to? Because we have to see.
He's in mid-regeneration, the lights flying out of his hands, energy everywhere. The Daleks have shot him. What's going to happen?
The Daleks are back. Sarah Jane came back. Who's the other one? Sarah Jane Smith.
Rose.
Tyler.
Pretty much anybody who's been in the last 4 seasons. So.
Martha Jones.
Martha Jones, yep.
And the former Prime Minister
Harriet Jones.
Who was Harriet Jones. Nobody's thought of that they could be related. But anyway, they're both Joneses. Picking up with those Joneses. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Good service here. Cheers.
So, we've got a clip here. We've got Captain Jack Harkness, the Torchwood team, Daleks invading Earth, parallel universes colliding.
So the hand in the little jar is going to do something. And I don't think he is going to regenerate at all. I think this is a bogus regeneration. Our British friends would have told us by now if he was going to regenerate.
I think we would have heard of a new actor being cast at least. Very unlikely that he'd get off the show business radar or YouTube or the internet or any other form of communication. So,
because we're happy in Australia because we got to see our Kylie in the Titanic episode. Yeah. So it was nice of them to think of Australia. I've seen another science fiction movie with an Australian. On Battlestar Galactica. To our surprise, we had an Australian accent, an Australian
Might have been
part.
an accent. I don't know if it was an Australian actor. The female lead was of an Asian background, but with an Aussie accent. House does have an Australian doctor, the series with Hugh Laurie. So it's starting to become fashionable.
You're having 2 pints.
I am. They're so good. Chicken again.
Which is interesting for a sci-fi having an Australian accent on Battlestar Galactica, where they're from a planet called Capricia, which doesn't have Australia.
It doesn't have America either, but they've still got American accents.
They've got different accents. Some of them are English accents.
Why the fuck do they speak English at all, really? Is my first question.
It really, at times like this you realise that it really is made for children. I guess that there are different accents in different countries in this.
Well, it's like everybody watches the first Planet of the Apes movie and they go, oh my god, they were really on Earth for all along. Of course they're on Earth, they speak English. I mean, wouldn't you work it out the minute they started speaking English and that type of thing? That you're not 10,000 light years away from home?
Although the bad guy is, of course, English. Professor, who has the Cylon that's haunting his mind. You know, you always have to have the bad guy as the English person. Hollywood will either have a Russian or somebody who's Mexican or Caribbean or something. Always the bad guy. Dr. Smith in Lost in Space. I think it was probably a New England accent, but it was sort of England-ish. And I noticed that when I lived in America, you know, because it was so drilled into people that if you had a accent that sounded English, you must be the bad guy, because in Hollywood that's the way we're cast.
Like in Mel Gibson's The Patriot, Jason Isaacs was the bad guy. He was English. He was almost like Darth Vader, really. But
Whereas Australia, Mel Gibson was trained in Australia at NIDA. It didn't pay anything, by the way. Australia taxpayers paid for his training, and has American accent and was the Patriot. That's the ironic
he was
thing.
born in America too.
Lucky him. He got in his
His
training.
green card was very easy to get.
It was very easy to get, and those were the days when we had free education. It was all absolute. Can you believe we used to have free universities before we started following America down the rat hole? I mean, weren't they the good old days?
They were. And what show business report would be complete without mentioning? Last week, Sydney had the premiere of Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay. Kumar from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, and Van something party animal organizer rates with Berkoff. Really? A small but dedicated audience will go to see Berkoff and Harold and Kumar, and go and get Battlestar Galactica Razor. The
Battlestar
movie.
Galactica Racer is amazing. There's a lot of crap videos at the moment. Be careful. Ask around before you take out videos, because there's a lot of crap around, isn't there?
Especially before The Devil Knows You're Dead, a Philip Seymour Hoffman film. I'll probably mispronounce the title, but if you want to be truly bored, and it would have been a good idea if they'd hired an editor for this one, because I don't think there was an editor. They included everything. And don't forget Origins of Wolverine next April.
You know we're in the inner west. See you later, everybody.